name is Ruben Reyes. I am an immigration attorney here in Phoenix, Arizona. This video is about personal statements and what you need to know in terms of when you're going to apply for colleges, what you should put in a personal statement. I'm going to give you some general advice in terms of how you can go about writing your personal statement, what you should put in your personal statement, how you should edit your personal statement, because there is a goal to the personal statement, and hopefully in the end you'll kind of see how that all plays out. So what's a personal statement? Basically that is you. That's you in a nutshell. That is you, your dreams, your desires, your history, your personality, everything about you goes into a personal statement. It is the one thing in the college application that is uniquely you. And so putting this together so that the admissions people can read it, understand it, go through it, and create an attachment to this personal statement is one of the primary purposes of why you're writing it. Putting something together in terms of, I have dreams, I want to be so-and-so, and by coming here, my dreams come true, while direct is pretty uninspiring. What you want to be able to do is engage the individual who is reading this. You want them to connect with this personal statement. And so, how do I go about it? I think one of the hardest things people do is write or talk about themselves. There is a few exceptions, but we're not talking about them. That was probably for me one of the hardest things to do when I was applying to law schools, was writing a personal statement. Because my life had been, was difficult at times, and I definitely had things that I was not, happy about. It seems like that's kind of where I focused a lot of my energy. What did I not like about myself? What was I not happy about? What I wish I'd done differently? And it really, I think by getting that out of the way in the beginning, you kind of get to a point where, what did you learn from those experiences? What did you gain from those experiences? What changed about you for the better because of those experiences? I think that's where the breakthroughs come in. When you start not just critically looking at yourself and critically focusing on all the things you wish you'd done differently, but when you start looking back and you say, you know what, I'm at a point where I'm applying to college. Why am I here? What about me now, today, because I'm 5 years out of school, because I'm just about to graduate, and I realized I want to go to school, I want to go to college, because I've been out of school for 10 years and I have a kid, because I've led a rough life, and I don't want to live a rough life anymore. Whatever it is, whatever brought you to this point in your life, this is what this transitory statement, this statement based on who you've become, to kind of give you this kind of hope for yourself, for your future, for the future of others, is I think what makes the best personal statement. Now, generally most personal statements only let you write maybe 2 pages, 3 tops, double-spaced, 12 font, New Times Roman. And so that's not a lot of space or time to talk a lot about yourself. However, your goal should not be for your first draft to be 3 pages, double-spaced, 12 font, New Times Roman. Write as much about whatever it is you need to write about, and let it go. Let it flow. Get it all out there. Because when you kind of put it all out there, it's so much easier to edit and cut and paste, especially now with Word. When you have the whole picture, sometimes you figure that you've written something in a paragraph that can be better explained in a sentence. And so by having all this in front of you, you think it's important, but you just have to revise, refine, and revise your personal statement. That's the process. You should never expect your personal statement, no matter how great a writer people have told you you are, to do it out in one shot. That's pretty much the worst practice in terms of putting together a personal statement. Waiting till a few days before it's due and cranking it out overnight, and doing a couple of last-minute edits, spell check, and that's it. No. This is a process. It's an evolution, much like your life. You want to be able to show to the individual who's going to be reading this personal statement, and maybe they have a stack of 50, maybe they have a stack of 100, that you are worth a second look, a second consideration, that you are ready for the next phase, for people to kind of talk about whether or not you are a good fit for that school, for that program, for that environment. And so take your time and really do spend time on this. This is probably the most critical part of your application, you know, aside from your life story itself. Do not do this quickly. Do not do this lightly, and do not do this sloppily. So you've written out a 10, 15 page, you know, diorama based on where you've been. Now it's time to start editing. And what I would say is a narrative style is generally the best style. You know, we're not talking about a Quentin Tarantino movie. We don't want to cut, you know, and flash back and flash forward and flash back. You know, those kinds of writing techniques take a lot of skill, and you don't have a lot of time to do it. And so direct and narrative, and, you know, most often chronologically speaking, is a good way to go. Now, it doesn't have to be when I was 5, when I was 6, when I was 7. It could be when I was younger, when I was older, and now. It could be that when I didn't know, when I know, and what I know now. It could be on what I thought, what I think, and what I'd like to think. In other words, there should be some kind of a chronology in terms of development, not necessarily just time. And so developing who you were, who you are from who you were, is a story. And that story should be easily understood. It should talk about who you are. When I was 5 years old, I went to elementary school. My mother had to drop me off at 7 in the morning because it was she went to work early, and I was the only kid left in the playground. Well, come October, it's pretty cold in El Paso, Texas, and my mom would give me 35 cents. And those 35 cents I would use for my chips and my snack, you know, throughout the day. It was so cold one day, and I was the only kid in the playground, that I decided to go to a 7-Eleven across from a small strip mall and play a video game. And lo and behold, I come across a bakery that I knew had been there, but I was hungry. The cafeteria hadn't opened yet. And so I walk in, and I ask the man, what can I get for a quarter? He says, tell me what you want, and I'll tell you when you spend a quarter. So I asked for a gingerbread pig, and I asked for a donut, and I asked for some milk, and I asked for some orange juice, and I asked for a brisket burrito, and I asked for another gingerbread pig, because I really liked gingerbread pigs. And I sat and I spoke to the man for about an hour and 15 minutes. When I was done, I went ahead and gave him my quarter, and he gave me back 24 cents. You know what? I went back that afternoon. The point of that story isn't that I got all that bread for a penny. The story is somebody took, the point is that somebody took the time to see that some kid, some 5-year-old kid, was out walking the street, who was hungry, and from the kindness of his heart, took the time to not just feed me, but to listen to me. And that man became a very good friend of mine. I went and I visited him pretty much every day in my undergrad, my elementary education. I would visit him often in middle school, and he passed away when I was a sophomore in high school. His name is Don Simon. And why do I tell you this story? Because this story was one of those things that kind of really made a huge difference in terms of who I was. Now, I didn't leave high school with that story. It took a while for that story to percolate in me and realize that what I want to be is like Don Simon. I want to be the kind of person who takes the time, who cares, who shares, and makes a difference in someone's life. And it doesn't have to be today. But that act of kindness really made a difference in terms of who I was. And believe it or not, that story was in my personal statement. It showed about, it told the person reading that personal statement who I was, where I'd been, where I came from, all in a paragraph. Maybe 4 or 5 sentences long. You got the long version. But by developing these kinds of stories in your life, you are able to kind of transfer your experiences, your personality, your character to this individual who is probably never going to meet you unless they accept you. And so you want to be able to have that person turn that final page and say, you know what, I'm not done. I'm not done. I want to know more about this person. I want to meet this person. I want this person to come to this school. And funny enough, I had a few people tell me when I was accepted I applied to 16 law schools. I was accepted to 13, and all because of a mentor who took a very strong interest in my personal development in college. I didn't do this on my own. I had somebody help me, and she had told me this is what I need to do for my personal statement, and what she told me is kind of what I'm telling you. And so 13 out of 16 isn't bad, but what I heard, the comment I heard most often was this: when we got to the end of your personal statement, Ruben, we were not done. We wanted to know more. And that is the goal of your personal statement. Yes, you want to get into school. Yes, you want to talk about yourself. Yes, you want to prove a transitory statement, an explanation, a narrative on who you are and where you've come from. But the goal, the real goal of a personal statement is so that when that person gets to the end of the personal statement, they're not done. They need to speak to you. They want to meet you. And the best personal statements are the kind of personal statements that make that happen. You know what? They're going to pass that along to the next person, and they're going to be anxious for that person to read your personal statement because they want to share that experience. Can you believe this? Did you read that? Wasn't that so touching? Wasn't that so real? That's what you want from a personal statement. How you organize, what the topic is, where your stories focus. Now, this all is personal. It's your personal statement. But the goal is to be clear, concise, write like, Ernest Hemingway. Your sentences should not be more than two lines long. If you have a sentence that's more than 2 lines long, you probably need to cut that sentence into 2 sentences. You do not want to use, things like of the this or of the that. It was, you want to be short and you want to be direct. You want your writing to be clear. You want your writing to be concise. And don't get flowery. Tell a story. You are the flowery, not, using big words and, things you have to look up in the thesaurus. You're not trying to impress them on your education. You're going there to get an education. You're trying to impress them on your qualifications as a human being. And so share that about yourself. And be honest with others in terms of where you've been and how you feel and how you've grown. Those make for the most powerful personal statements. I will have other, videos based on this, the most critical part, I think, of the application process, aside from deciding the fact that you want to go to college. My name is Ruben Reyes. I am an immigration attorney here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I got here because a lot of people took an interest in helping me get to this point in my life. You can email me, and of course I'll have some of this stuff throughout the video. My email address is rubenluisreyes@gmail.com. Send me questions, and I will make more videos based on your questions, your comments, and I do wish all of you the best of luck in getting to where you want to be in life and make your dreams happen. And I hope helping others get to where they want to be in life and helping them achieve their dreams. So happy holidays and good luck.